Idaho is one of the best states in the country for pandemic response. That is according to the political journalism giant Politico. It's the latest survey found the Gem State ranked number 4 overall, 3rd for education, and 4th for economy.
It's important to note, do not let that fool you. We ranked 27th for our public health response to the pandemic and 38th for social well-being. But why then was education ranked so high in the Gem State? Our Katya Stepovic looked into how students fared during the pandemic, and the findings were strong.
While the indicators for the education part of the Politico study is partial, the study compared metrics to pre-pandemic data and found that there was no learning loss in math, no learning loss in reading, and a 0.90% change in enrollment.
My initial reaction is nice to be on the top of, or close to the top of, an education list. Usually when we see education rankings, whether it's about funding per student or go on rates or those types of things, we're toward the bottom of the list.
Kurt Liebig, the president of the Idaho State Board of Education, credits the high ranking to one particular goal the board set from the start of the pandemic.
In-person learning was really important. We knew that learning loss would be greater if kids were stuck in a remote setting. And so from the beginning, we did everything we could to try to emphasize that we should have students in the classroom with competent and caring teachers.
But Liebig says to say there was no loss in both math and reading categories is a little preemptive.
In some sense, I feel like the survey came out a little too soon. I mean, I feel like I'm getting a grade at the end of a third quarter of a 4-quarter game, right? I mean, there's still a lot we don't know. But I think, at our last board meeting, we looked at some of the early student achievement data, and there's clearly been unfinished and interrupted learning.
The State Department of Education also said in a statement sent to KTVB, while data is limited at this point, we have some early data that show Idaho students with disabilities and our English language learners were significantly impacted.
We're not naive. There has been disruption, and we're going to have to put some resources to work here to get kids caught up to grade level, and with the governor's support, we're prepared to do that.
Now, the Politico study also ranks Idaho as the number 4th in their economic response to the pandemic. Governor Little released a statement today that said, quote, Idaho's high ranking among states for our pandemic response reinforces our emphasis on choice and freedom. Our businesses and schools stayed open. I never put in place a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate. We banned vaccine passports and our legal challenges to Biden's overreaching vaccine mandates, and they're working. So while that is great news, it's important to still remember that we are in the middle of a pandemic with Omicron cases rising throughout the country. And Idaho's ranking for health and social response to the pandemic, they were not great, guys.
And the governor hinted earlier this week that is going to be a main point that he's going to address during his State of the State coming up on January 10th.
Katya, thank you.